This right here is what Luka Doncic does when the defense doubles him and leaves a crack open somewhere else on the floor.
Whips a pass underneath to Ayton.
And this is what Austin Reaves does when the defense thinks they only have to worry about stopping Luka.
Reaves. Got it.
Listen, the Lakers just went through the busiest offseason in franchise history almost. And with all these changes made to the roster, the entire plan comes down to one question we have to answer. Can Luka Doncic and Austin Reaves lead this team with their offensive firepower? Everybody wants to talk about the shooting, the depth, the rebounding that they added. But right now, none of that matters if the two guys steering the ship can't actually handle the load together. And in today's video brought to you by ProdGxm, we're going to dive deep into how this pairing works together, and not because they're both talented, because each one of them offers something different from the other that the defense simply can't handle. Or by the end of it, these guys simply still aren't good enough to get them out the West. Let's start with the most obvious problem for offensive players like Luka. He draws so much defensive attention that it forces other guys to step up and knock down shots, but with his ability to see the floor at an elite level, he can outbeat any double team that comes his way. As he pushes into the paint here versus the Pelicans, you can see the entire defense has collapsed on Doncic, which does open up a lob to Jackson Hayes over the top, but for an even cleaner look, Doncic sends it out to Kennard in the corner for the money ball. It doesn't matter when or where the defense decides to double him at, as Doncic has this calmness to his game that allows him to navigate to his spots even when under pressure, and due to him attacking the left side, this pulls the defense towards him, and now this lob, well, it's easy work. Most of the time when you double guys, they will rush to get it out their hands, or they end up making a bad pass resulting in a turnover. But for Luka, it's simply not the case. Doubling him might actually do more harm for you rather than just guarding him straight up. That right there is the type of pressure Luka puts on the defense simply by just existing. But this is where it can get quite dangerous, because when Luka gets doubled, he has a guy he can depend on, and that's Austin Reaves. Most of the time when Luka comes off these pick and roll actions, it's going to be this lob over the top that the defense is worried about. But once you do that, you give up a wide open tray ball for Reaves in the corner. At times, things may start with Reaves having the ball in his hand initially, only to then flow into a Doncic pick and roll with Ayton, but what this does is now make the defense double Doncic, now have to rotate over to cover the roll, and once again, you leave a dependable bucket getter wide open ready to score. I get it, this may not seem like a lot to some people, but being able to make the defense pay over and over for doubling your main guy breaks them even more. Because while they focus on taking out what they think is the only engine to the offense, they soon find out that there's actually two guys who can steer this ship, and the second driver isn't a slouch at all. And believe me, it's not only from deep where Austin Reaves can capitalize on Luka's gravity, as if his defender stays put in the middle of the paint to help out on this roll, this leaves the backside completely uncovered for Reaves to cut, and hey, this is just too easy. To build on this further, say his man pre-rotates and leaves him open. Well, not every cut to the basket is smart, because on this action, you can see Kawhi camping out in the paint. So trying to score over him while he stands right there wouldn't be the smartest. So this time, Reaves waits till the ball is sent his way. He can then attack the closeout of Kawhi with momentum on his side, and although Dunn recovered back to contest, the focus was already there. For any superstar, it's nice to know that you have a guy you can immediately look to when you get doubled that you know can go put points on the board. But this isn't the end all be all. As we all know, depending on one player to do it all for your team can leave a player exhausted, and is just simply not enough. When you're playing good teams, you need multiple threats to attack the defense. And trust me, Austin Reaves isn't just some guy who has to be Luka's sidekick the entire time. When Reaves took the court without Luka last season, he managed to put up 28 points with 8 assists to go along with it, and although it's not the largest sample size, it shows you what he's capable of. Oftentimes within the flow of the game, you will see Reaves used as an off-ball option, so defenses will start to key in on this. To stop him, they end up sending multiple bodies once he catches the ball, but the problem isn't just with these multiple defenders around him, it's what it causes the secondary defenders to do. In this case, Chet is a secondary, or shall I say last line of defense, so it's highly important he doesn't get caught ball watching. Well, as we roll the clip, you're going to see Rudy cut back door, and all because he didn't know where his man was, Chet jumps the total opposite way while Rudy catches to then go finish off the slam. Yeah, AR has slight flashes of creation in his bag as well. You can use him in the pick and roll where he can drop off these pocket passes to his big man. He can use that off-ball gravity he has to then send up lobs off the catch.
7 more points. Reaves.
And then when he does navigate inside but is met by a big, AR has no problem using that physicality to bump off J-Will to buy some space. And although he could have tried to score right here, he finds the better option with a kick out to Rui for that money ball. This here shows you that Luka doesn't solely have to create for others, and if he is to leave the floor, Reaves can still keep the ship afloat in that department. But there's one thing, this doesn't cover for Luka's scoring at all. And is that me saying that Austin Reaves can't score? Nah, not at all. In fact, Reaves offers a different pace and creation opposed to Luka that can make them a nightmare to go against. This right here is really the bread and butter to the combination. But before we get into that, we have to hear a word from our sponsor. If you know you can play responsibly and have the means to do so, PrizePicks is the #1 app for sports picks. As we all know, the NBA season is over, but the action never stops for lovers of all sports. When you go to PrizePicks, you'll see many different sports to choose from, along with many different categories to select your picks. It's pretty easy. All you do is pick more or less on a player's stats and it puts them in your lineup. And if you want, PrizePicks now offers team picks where you either pick the winner, spread, or total and simply lock it in. Here's how simple it is to add picks for a lineup. For example, Veronica for over 1.5 threes? Yeah, let's do it. Enrique for more than 14.5 points? Yeah, let's lock that in as well. And then after going through and locking in more picks, I can finalize my lineup, sit back, and let the magic happen. And the greatest part about it is that PrizePicks is available in over 40 states, including California, Florida, Texas. And if you sign up for PrizePicks with code HMA, play your first $5 and you get $150 in lineups if you win. That's right, PrizePicks just switched up their offer, so there's no better time to join than now. So lock in, win that first lineup, and that's code HMA at sign up to get $150 in free lineups if you win your first $5 lineup. So either download the app or click the link in my description to get started. Now, like I stated, Reaves can offer a different pace and play style than Luka, and with both of them showing defense is something different, it's like a 1-2 punch they can't escape. While Doncic is more methodical and calculated, Reaves has this more free-flowing approach that makes him more elusive. When watching Luka, you'll see him take his time getting to his spots, but hey, he still can't be stopped.
Foul, bucket, Luka to the free throw line.
And then with Reaves, it's not that he's rushed or anything like that, but his handle and the way he moves is way more slick than Doncic and can lead to buckets like this.
Downhill, found the window for two.
Now, I'm not saying that Luka doesn't have a handle or anything, but let's be honest, when you watch these two, they definitely give you a different viewing experience. While as of late, we've all seen Luka fall more into pull-up threes and using that snake dribble to operate to his spots, and this is something fans want Luka to stop leaning so heavy on, as they can at times think he's settling. But that's where Reaves offers something totally different. AR does shoot threes, but his shot creation is a little bit more diverse and elite for a second option. Physicality isn't an issue for him, as he'll bump off anyone in his way to then get a bucket. When he's navigating on the floor, he has no problem shifting directions to break defenders to then go slam it in all over them. And when he's faced with tight coverages and the defense cuts him off, it's nothing for him to create space for himself, even if it's a little bit, and this is straight cash. See, in many different ways he can score, and the same goes for Luka. Doncic may not be dunking on guys anymore, but what he is doing is making them look helpless on the floor. When coming off the screen here, Gobert's going to try to stop Luka, but all it takes is a spin move to leave him behind, a high carry to beat the secondary defender, and then the layup pass in is just too easy. When he's working in that in-between area, it's not about creating space for Doncic. He's so elite at shot making that it doesn't matter if he's smothered or not, as long as he can get his shot up, you better just hope he misses. And then, when he's on fire, he's genuinely someone you don't want to be facing, as he might do something like this.
Step back three. Oh, he banks it in. It's a bullseye banker.
Or he'll show the defense that they're no match by letting it fly from 31 feet. And this is exactly why defenses can't just pick one of these guys to load up on. You send extra bodies at Luka, well, Reaves is already walking into a bucket. You try to key in on Austin Reaves, well, Luka is definitely going to pick you apart in many different ways. Most teams around the league spend years searching for one guy who can do this on his own, but the Lakers, they're going into the season with two guys who can do this. And if teams aren't careful, this backcourt duo will give them nightmares.